Class, welcome back. We are talking about the civil rights today, and we're talking about the Bill of Rights that was included after the Constitution was created. Uh, and it ensured that certain freedoms were not taken away with the Constitution. And a lot of the states wouldn't ratify it until the Bill of Rights was in there, and they liked the Bill of Rights and they liked what it had to say. So that's what we're talking about, the Bill of Rights, with continuing with our civil rights unit. The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. The idea behind the Bill of Rights was to ensure certain freedoms, like I said, and the rights of the citizens of America. You don't want the government to have too much power. Well, it put limits on what the government could do and control. You had freedoms protected, including the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, the right to bear arms, the right to carry a weapon, a gun, reasonable search and seizure of your home. You can't just come in and search somebody's home without a warrant, and the right to a speedy trial and more. And they also had it because during the American Revolution, people would come in and the British would just come in and just take over somebody's home, and you would have to provide the British troops with shelter. You would at your home. So they did away with that too, because that was a big deal then.
What is it? The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. The idea behind the Bill of Rights was to ensure certain freedoms and rights to the citizens of America. It put limits on what the government could do and control. Freedoms protected included freedom of religion, speech, assembly, the right to bear arms, unreasonable search and seizure of your home, the right to a speedy trial, and more.
All right, so ratifying. As a lot of the delegates of the states, they were against signing the Constitution. They did not want to sign it without the Bill of Rights being in there. And it became a big issue, ratifying the Constitution in some states. So James Madison, this man right here, he wrote 12 amendments to the Constitution, and he took them and presented them to Congress in 1789. And it was about 2 years later, they chose 10 of those amendments, and they were passed and made part of the Constitution. And those 10 amendments later became the Bill of Rights.
Ratifying. Many delegates of the states were against signing the Constitution without a Bill of Rights included. It became a major issue in ratifying the Constitution in some states. As a result, James Madison wrote 12 amendments and presented them to the first Congress in 1789. On December 15, 1791, 10 of the amendments were passed and made part of the Constitution. They would later become known as the Bill of Rights.
All right. So what was it based upon? What was the Bill of Rights based on? Well, there's three different things it's based on. First, the Magna Carta. We went over that lesson just the other day. I've got it up on included with the Civil Rights lesson. The Magna Carta, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, and the English Bill of Rights. So there were three. So now we're going to go over the list, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, which is the Bill of Rights. Remember, the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Rights, and the English Bill of Rights were the three that they were based upon, that the Bill of Rights, our Bill of Rights, is based upon.
What was it based upon? The Bill of Rights was based on several previous documents, including the Magna Carta, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, and the English Bill of Rights. Here's a list of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
All right, our First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law preventing the establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. So you're free, you should be able, with the Bill of Rights, to practice any religion you want. No religion at all is off limits. You can practice whatever religion, or you can practice no religion at all. All right. You also have the freedom of speech. You can say what you want to an extent. If you go off and say something about the President of the United States and threaten his life in some manner, no, you can't say something like that. But the freedom of press, you got the freedom of assembly, the right to petition the government, to redress your grievances. These are all included in the very First Amendment. And the Second Amendment, it protects the right to bear arms, which means you can carry weapons. You can have weapons. You are able to have weapons at your home, as long as you are not a criminal. In that case, you're not really supposed to have those then. But it does the right to bear arms.
The First and Second Amendments. The First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law preventing the establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. Also protected are freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. The Second Amendment protects citizens' rights to bear arms.
All right, the Third and the Fourth Amendment. The Third Amendment prevents the government from putting troops in private homes, so they can't just come in and say, "Oh, we need a place to stay. We're just going to crash here." You can't do that. You can't do that. Nobody wants a troop to come in their house and just stay there if you don't know them. Well, they could do that during the American Revolution, and it was a big deal then, so they put a stop to that with the Third Amendment. The Fourth Amendment prevents the government from unreasonable search and seizure. You can't government just can't come into your house and say, "Hey, I don't like what's going on here. I'm just going to take and do whatever and seize your property." They have to have a warrant and have probable cause. That is the Fourth Amendment.
Third and Fourth Amendments. The Third Amendment prevents the government from placing troops in private homes. This was a real problem during the American Revolutionary War. The Fourth Amendment. This amendment prevents the government from unreasonable search and seizure of the property of the U.S. citizens. It requires the government to have a warrant that is issued by a judge and based on probable cause.
All right, the Fifth Amendment is famous for people saying, "Hey, I plead the Fifth. I'll take the Fifth." That means you can choose not to testify in court if it's going to incriminate yourself. This amendment protects citizens from being subject to criminal prosecution and punishment without due process, and it also keeps people from being tried for the same crime twice. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a speedy trial by a jury of one's peers. People are accused or to be informed of the crimes which they're charged of, the right to confront witnesses brought by the government. It also provides the accused to compel testimony from witnesses. So, the government also has to provide a lawyer. This is with the Sixth Amendment. All those are included with the Fifth and the Sixth Amendments.
Fifth and Sixth Amendments. The Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is famous for people saying, "I'll take the Fifth." This gives people the right to choose not to testify in court if they feel their own testimony will incriminate themselves. In addition, this amendment protects citizens from being subject to criminal prosecution and punishment without due process. It also prevents people from being tried for the same crime twice. The amendment also establishes the power of eminent domain, which means that private property cannot be seized for public use without just compensation. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a speedy trial by a jury of one's peers. Also, people accused are to be informed of the crimes with which they are charged and have the right to confront the witnesses brought by the government. The amendment also provides the accused the right to compel testimony from witnesses and to legal representation, meaning the government has to provide a lawyer.
All right, and then you got the Seventh and Eighth Amendments. The Seventh Amendment provides that civil cases also be tried by jury, and the Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail. You can't make them pay too much money, excessive fines, and no cruel and unusual punishment.
The Seventh and Eighth Amendments. The Seventh Amendment provides that civil cases also be tried by jury. The Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail, excessive fines, and cruel and unusual punishments.
All right, then the Ninth and Tenth Amendment. Ninth Amendment states that the list of rights described in the Constitution is not exhaustive. That people still have all the rights that are not listed. So if those rights aren't listed, you still have those rights. And the 10th Amendment says that any right or power not specifically given to the U.S. government either goes back to the states or to the people.
Ninth and 10th Amendments. The Ninth Amendment states that the list of rights described in the Constitution is not exhaustive and that the people still have all the rights that are not listed. The 10th Amendment gives all powers not specifically given to the United States government in the Constitution to either the states or to the people.
All right, comprehension question. What document is the Bill of Rights a part of? A, the Emancipation Proclamation, B, the Constitution, or C, the Declaration of Independence? It is B, the Constitution.
Ding, ding, ding.
They made it a part of the Constitution, added those as the first 10 amendments to the Constitution is the Bill of Rights. Number 2, how many amendments are in the Bill of Rights? I just said that if you were listening. A, 3, B, 6, or C, 10. There are 10 amendments into the Bill of Rights.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
10 amendments to the Constitution. First 10 are called the Bill of Rights. Number 3, who wrote the amendments that became the Bill of Rights? A, James Madison, B, Abraham Lincoln, or C, Thomas Jefferson? It was James Madison. He originally wrote 12, and 2 years later they came back and they kept 10 of them.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 4, what documents were used to base the Bill of Rights off of? What were they? A, the Declaration of Independence, B, the Magna Carta, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, and the English Bill of Rights, or C, the Emancipation Proclamation? It is B. There were 3 of them. Magna Carta, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, and the English Bill of Rights all were used to base the Bill of Rights off of.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
And number 5, what does the First Amendment protect? Which rights? Unreasonable search and seizure, the freedom of speech, or the right to bear arms? It is A, the freedom of speech. Also, freedom of religion is also protected in that. Freedom of speech is one of those. When you say I'm going to use my First Amendment right, that means freedom of speech.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
All right, that is all the questions for today. I will see you back next time. There goes Miss Pam in the background. You see her back there. You all have a good day.